compared to what you are used to?
Oh man, yeah, totally different atmosphere. The support here has been just phenomenal. I really can't go anywhere. I've been here like a week and a half, and everywhere I go, it's just like.
What's up, Hoop World? It's your boy, back with another scorching hot take, and trust me, you are not ready for this. We're talking about a betrayal so shocking, it's like a primetime soap opera exploded in the WNBA. We're diving deep into the bizarre case of DeWanna Bonner goes new tease after XBOCD scamming Caitlin Clark and Fever.
What are you bringing to this young team?
A little bit of leadership, but at the same time, they already had a core. So just trying to add and get in where I fit in. I'm just so blessed and grateful that I got to.
This isn't just about a player leaving a team. This is about seismic shifts rocking the entire league. And you know who's at the heart of it all? Rookie phenom Caitlin Clark. Buckle up, because this story is wild. For years, DeWanna Bonner has been synonymous with WNBA greatness. A 6-time All-Star, a 2-time WNBA champion, and now the 3rd all-time leading scorer in league history. A true legend. Her resume speaks for itself, showcasing a consistent career of dominance and leadership. So imagine the shockwaves that rippled through the WNBA when Bonner, after signing a hefty $200,000,
like I've said, I take a lot of pride in being able to do a lot of different things for this team. I want to be able to, I think we're really good when I can get the ball off the glass and just go in transition and find my team.
1-year unprotected contract with the Indiana Fever for the 2025 season. Simply refused to play. This wasn't a trade demand. This was a flat-out abandonment. She just quit the team citing vague personal reasons and a feeling that the fit did not work out. Fever fans, coaches, and even insiders were left reeling. They envisioned Bonner, a veteran with immense experience and a proven track record, as a critical piece for a young team looking to build around the generational talent, Caitlin Clark. They expected leadership, mentorship, and a solid presence in the front court. Instead, they got an unprecedented level of uncertainty and a whole lot of embarrassment. As one insider put it, imagine being a teammate gearing up for a pivotal season only to realize the player meant to anchor your team is already looking for the exit. Confusion, frustration, and a deep sense of betrayal rippled through the franchise. The Fever had no choice. After Bonner had been away from the team since June 12th, missing 5 games for personal reasons that were never fully disclosed, and failing to find a trade partner for the disgruntled veteran, they officially waived her on June 25th. This unprecedented move, giving a star player her unconditional release just 14 games into the season, sent a clear message. Her roster spot was immediately filled by Ari McDonald, a solid guard who, while talented, does not fill the critical frontcourt void left by Bonner. This wasn't just a personal decision on Bonner's part. It was a deliberate act that disrupted an entire team. She wasn't just sitting out, she was still collecting a paycheck on an unprotected contract while abandoning her team. It's the lowest of the low, and as a fan of basketball, it makes you genuinely angry to see a legend tarnish her legacy in such a way. Bonner's initial statement after being waived was carefully worded, expressing thanks to the Fever organization. However, a cryptic social media post she made shortly after, stating "in due time," hinted at a much deeper, untold story. Some speculate her discontent stemmed from being benched early in the season in favor of Lexi Hull, a younger player who, by some accounts, had outperformed Bonner when given the opportunity. This suggests that the fit did not work out, might be a polite way of saying she wasn't happy with her role, especially given her long history as a starter. Bonner's unexpected departure didn't just create a hole in the roster, it created a full-blown crisis, especially for the Fever's front court. With Damiris Dantas also out for multiple games due to injury, the team's depth in the paint, a crucial area of the game, became dangerously thin. The remaining bigs, Natasha Howard, Ree Turner, and Queen Egbo, if healthy, are left to hold things together, but it's a precarious situation against stronger lineups like the Las Vegas Aces or New York Liberty, who would simply feast in the paint.
The young girls were Caitlin Clark fans, so comment on that.
Yeah, I thought the atmosphere was incredible. Definitely a lot of young girls here today, which was a lot of fun to see. But
the absence of a veteran presence like Bonner also places immense pressure on younger players like Alia Boston and Nalissa Smith to carry a heavier load. And let's talk about the money. That $200,000 contract Bonner signed with Indiana for the 2025 season ate up a massive chunk of the Fever's salary cap, which for 2025 is set at $1,507,100. Because her contract was unprotected, the Fever were only responsible for her prorated salary for the 9 games she was on the roster, averaging 7.1 points, 3.8 rebounds, and 1.6 assists in 22.3 minutes. While this freed up a roster roster spot, which they filled with Arie McDonald, who, while a solid guard averaging 8.6 points and 2.8 assists over 4 previous seasons, does not solve their critical frontcourt length issues. It still leaves them in one of the toughest cap situations in the league. They've already used valuable cap space on other key players like Natasha Howard and Kelsey Mitchell, who signed a supermax deal for $249,244 for 2025. The idea of trading Bonner before waiving her was a non-starter. League sources indicated Bonner's preferred landing spots were with the Phoenix Mercury, where her partner Alyssa Thomas plays, or the Atlanta Dream, where she has family roots, sharing twin daughters with her ex-wife, former Fever player Candace Dupree. However, both teams simply lacked the cap space to absorb her $200,000 salary. The Mercury only have around $88,103 in cap space, and the Dream a paltry $23,939. Even if they agreed to a deal, the Fever would likely have had to eat a significant portion of Bonner's contract just to facilitate a trade, getting very little in return. It was a lose-lose situation for Indiana. They couldn't trade her, and keeping her was just a drain on resources and team morale. This leaves the Fever scrambling, forced to adjust their playoff aspirations and facing an uphill battle for the rest of the season. Adding insult to injury, if Bonner clears waivers, which is highly likely given her high salary relative to other teams' cap space, and reports that teams were advised not to claim her because she only wants to play for Phoenix, she would then become an unrestricted free agent. This would allow the Mercury to potentially sign her for the veteran minimum of $78,831, well within their available cap space. It's a conspiracy theory that's gaining traction among fans. Was this the plan all along? For Bonner to get her big payday from the Fever and then force her way to Phoenix for a fraction of her original deal? It certainly feels like a calculated move. But here's where this story gets even more fascinating and, frankly, a lot messier. What if DeWanna Bonner's refusal to play for the Indiana Fever isn't just about personal frustrations or wanting to play closer to her partner? What if it's tied to something much bigger, a simmering cultural conflict happening within the WNBA itself? And at the very center of this discussion is rookie superstar Caitlin Clark. Clark's impact isn't just in her dazzling stats and highlights. It's the seismic ripple effect she's had on the league, both on and off the court. She's brought a whole new wave of attention, a fan base that's noticeably different from what the WNBA has traditionally cultivated. Many new viewers don't fit the mold of the league's historically diverse and progressive core audience. While this is undeniably great for visibility, ticket sales, and media rights, like the new $2.2 billion deal being negotiated for 11 years, averaging $200 million annually starting in 2026, it's also created undeniable friction. There's a growing sentiment, especially among some veteran players, that this sudden shift disrupts the culture they've worked hard to build over decades. The WNBA has long embraced a specific identity, leaning into progressive messaging and catering to an audience that largely aligns with that vision. Now, with Clark pulling in a different crowd, a predominantly white, heterosexual demographic, there are whispers that some players feel like the identity of the WNBA is at risk of shifting too much, too fast. As some commentators have bluntly put it, she's brought in a fan base of people mostly heterosexuals to the WNBA that the WNBA players are like, hey, we want to be popular, but we don't want to be that kind of popular. This isn't necessarily about homophobia, but a discomfort with the rapid demographic shift and the perception that the league's new popularity is largely attributed to one player, potentially overshadowing the contributions of longtime veterans who built the league's foundation. This tension might have manifested directly within the Indiana Fever locker room. The team reportedly tried to build a scheme team around Caitlin Clark, stacking the roster with players who could help elevate her game. But instead of fostering harmony, rumors suggest it backfired. The chemistry hasn't clicked, and some of the team dynamics are allegedly centered on conflicts that have little to do with basketball. The overtly physical play against Clark, the constant hand-checking and cheap shots further highlights this animosity and a sense of us versus her. It's a perfect storm of misalignment. DeWanna Bonner, as a seasoned veteran and a prominent voice in the league, might be reacting to this cultural shift in a very public way. Her unexplained disappearance from the team, the lack of detailed reporting about her reasons beyond vague personal reasons, all fuel the speculation that this isn't just about her individual preferences. It might be a quiet form of protest, a statement against changes she doesn't agree with, or a feeling that the team's new direction wasn't aligned with her values. Was this situation ever set up to succeed? This isn't the first time we've seen generational and cultural divides in sports, but in the WNBA's case, the stakes feel particularly high. The league is still carving out its place in the larger sports world, and every step forward seems tied to bigger questions about its identity. Does it double down on its roots and established culture, or does it embrace a broader appeal, even at the cost of some internal friction? The pulse of that debate is likely influencing decisions all over the league, and Bonner's move could be more than just personal. It might be a dramatic symptom of a deeper struggle. Consider the ongoing CBA negotiations for 2025. WNBA players opted out of their current agreement in October, meaning it expires at the end of the 2025 season. They are pushing for better pay and conditions, noting the league's unprecedented growth and the massive new media rights deal. Players are demanding 50-50 revenue sharing, as seen in the NBA, higher base and maximum salaries, currently averaging around $46,000 for a WNBA player, with top earners around $81,500, and better support for maternity and mental health leave. They want an average player salary closer to $1 million, a significant jump from the current figures. However, if Caitlin Clark, the primary driver of this recent growth, is sidelined, or if the league appears fractured by internal dissent, it severely undercuts the player's leverage, as we saw with Clark's recent quad injury, which sidelined her for 5 games, and now her groin injury. Ratings plummet when she's off the court. National TV games saw as much as a 55% drop in viewership during her last absence. It creates a perception that the league's success is singularly tied to one player, weakening the collective bargaining power of the entire player base. Former MLB executive David Sampson even suggested that WNBA players would only win their battle for a new CBA if they enlisted the help of Caitlin Clark to champion their cause, highlighting her unparalleled influence. The DeWanna Bonner saga, much like the Caitlin Clark injury situation, is exposing cracks in the WNBA's foundation. It highlights the challenges of balancing rapid growth with existing cultural norms